Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Jess Strom Show of the 2022-23 season. I'm your host, Katie Tetzlaw, and I'm with Miss Jess Strom. Jess, welcome back to the show.
It's good to be back.
Feels great, doesn't it?
Yep.
Back into the full swing of things. Vulcans currently are 4-1. It feels like we've been at this a long time, but really only 5 games in. Jess, tell us how it's going so far.
Good. I feel like it has gone really fast and really slow at the same exact time. I feel like summer flew by. We were here before we knew it, and preseason went pretty fast. I don't know if the players would say the same, but for us, I think it went pretty fast, probably because we had to teach a lot. And then, here we are, 5 games in. But I think we're doing well. I think we're chugging along right now.
Day by day.
Yep.
Gets better and better.
Better.
So let's talk about new additions to the program, because I think that's a common theme right now that you're seeing on the floor for the Vulcans. Are some different faces, but familiar faces all at the same time for some people that played the PSAC. Tell us a little bit about the newcomers.
Yeah, so I think, the last couple games, if you look at our starting lineup, it's one starter from last season. Obviously Hallie played a lot of minutes last year too, but was not in that starting role. So and then 3 transfers in our starting lineup right now. Obviously Raja played in the PSAC in the West and has a lot of experience in our conference, especially on our side. So she kind of fit right in. I think she's doing great fitting into our style of play. I think she's just she's just getting better as more she's learning our system. I think she's just going to keep growing. And then Jordan obviously played in the PSAC also at Shepherd, so had a good idea, what the PSAC's all about, this level. And then Alicia right now has stepped into the starting lineup. Played at a Division II school also, so kind of knows the level, not the PSAC, but it's just different because they are not freshmen, but they still have to be taught our system. So it's just kind of a different dynamic. And I think we're just going to keep getting better once we learn a little bit more.
Yeah, and let's talk about the OG, or the original, Hallie Harrington coming in, been with the program for her entire career and really stepping up into a huge role this year. Yeah,
I think that, she is like the definition of a program player. Like, she's been here, she's been through a lot of things, like her freshman year getting canceled in the NCAA tournament by COVID. The next year,
COVID out.
Yeah, like she's been through a lot in her 4 years, and I think this year she's just shining so far. She is solid. We just
Absolutely
can trust her. I looked at the minutes the other day in the PSAC, and she was leading the PSAC in minutes played.
Miss Reliable.
Yeah, she is. She's just super reliable. I think she's feeling very comfortable too. I think she is coming into her own scoring-wise. Like, she could always score, but I think she's finding really good spots right now.
Absolutely. And then Sierra Lloyd coming back as the returning starter, the lone returning starter right now. Tell us a little bit about her and what she's doing.
Yeah, it's huge for us to have our point guard returning. She kind of runs everything we do. She's a leader on the floor. She's been a really good leader off the floor also, like at practice. She is brutally honest at times, but I think we learn to love her that way. That's how she is.
And sometimes you need it.
It's good for us, yeah. And it's good for us. But on the floor, we are definitely different with her and without her. So it's nice to have her. She's a veteran. She's older. She knows what she's doing. She knows our stuff. So it's really nice to have someone that has the ball in her hands so much know what's going on.
Yeah, and for the folks out there with new players added and even having a freshman, one lone freshman, and then having our returners that are coming back, that are coming off the bench, but that haven't had a lot of minutes. I think it's difficult, running a system, our defensive system, for everyone to get on the same page quickly. And that's why I think you're still seeing like a lot more growth for the Vulcans.
Yeah, that's why, anyone that asks, I say, I think we'll be really good in January because it takes time. And we have a lot of new people. And like you said, even returners that didn't have a lot of game experience, it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time. And right now we're down to 10 practice players. So it's 5-on-5. They're going through it right now. So I think we'll just keep getting better. I think we've already gotten a lot better.
For sure.
From the first game until the game last night, I think that there's a lot of growth happening.
Specifically, what do you think that growth is for the people that are out there that maybe don't get to see practice, see what we do, or watch closely to the games and what we're trying to do defensively or anything like that? What do you think is the biggest growth?
I think a lot of people might watch like offensively if you're just watching the game. But for us, our growth defensively, I think, is where it's happening the most. Like, I just think positioning-wise, not fouling as much, playing our defense without fouling, forcing a lot of turnovers. I think it's just getting better. Understanding what we want, like we talked about transfers even in the starting lineup or, on the bench. But they played a completely different system.
To change that is hard to do.
And some of them played that for 3-4 years.
And same with freshmen. I include freshmen and transfers into the same, that they have been running something probably very different. I mean, I don't really know many teams that run some of the stuff that we run, very different than what most people do, which I think is unique, but also maybe difficult to get at first.
Yeah, I think it is, especially when you've been doing something probably the opposite way, for 3 or 4 years. It's hard. It's hard to make changes like that. So I think they're doing a good job sticking with it, believing in it, and I think we'll definitely keep growing with it.
Absolutely. And let's go back. We have to go back. What did you think, we'll start at the very beginning, the first show of the year. What did you think about coming into our preseason? What did you think about, the preseason for the players and kind of how we were and maybe the chemistry, the effort, the attitude, the grit? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it seems so long ago,
It
actually, but it really wasn't that long ago. I think this team just crushed preseason, and it's very difficult. You get up early, 5 days a week, and you get after it. Whether it's in practice, and this year was a little different. We didn't have individual workouts. We just had practice and strength and conditioning. So they didn't have that kind of, I don't want to say easy, but a little easier than practice. Shooting, ball handling stuff. No, we got after it from day one.
And early. It was like, boom. Yeah. You had to be kind of ready to go, or there was some suffering.
Yeah. So, and I think this group as a whole was one of our best preseasons ever, since I've been here in a long time. I think they just...
mentally and physically.
Yeah, I think they came in with great attitudes. That's hard sometimes. It's 6 a.m., you're tired. They don't go to bed at a normal time. So
even though we asked them to.
Yeah. So I think that the whole attitude and vibe was really good throughout preseason. We had really positive feedback from Bobby, our strength and conditioning coach, for that 6 weeks. I mean, I just think, they got after it. No matter what the task was, it was, they kind of met it head on and kind of crushed it.
I was super proud of their efforts and their attitudes for that. And, kudos to them. Because, and everybody that goes through preseason, you went through one, I went through one. It's not enjoyable. I mean, I don't know anyone that just gets up in the morning and is like, can't wait for preseason. But you have to take it to grow. You have to do it. You have to do it to get better and to build chemistry, I think. Don't you think that those situations provide like who's reliable, who you can trust, who shows up on time, like all those things prove to be important down the line.
Yeah, and it's huge for team building. You're doing it together. You're going through this together. No one else is going through this. Everybody else on campus is sleeping, and we're pushing a car up the hill. So it's just kind of it's obviously physically demanding, but you also as a team grow together because you're going through this together.
Yep, and let's go back 5 games. And let's start with opening weekend, a trip down to Charleston for the conference challenge. And obviously for the viewers out there, our conference challenge is West Liberty, Charleston from the Mountain East, and then us and Mercyhurst from the PSAC. Go down to Charleston, open up with a very good West Liberty team. Tell us a little bit about game 1.
Yeah, and that was a difficult challenge for us. West Lib and Charleston are good teams.
Great teams.
They have a lot of returners. From good teams last year. So I think it was a good challenge for us, even just learning how to prepare. Like, we have a lot of new players, so learning how we do scout, learning how we do shoot-arounds, learning, you don't think about those things, but they're important. They're probably different.
The focus, the mentality, the energy and effort that you need to understand who does what, how we're going to guard it, different things like that.
Yeah, it's not like you just show up and you play. Like, there's a lot of preparation that goes into that. But going down there, West Lib plays fast. That's the best way to put it.
Have to be on your toes.
You got to be ready. They're hard to play first game of the year because they go fast. And I think we did a really good job. Obviously went into overtime.
Tight game. A really good game. I think
it was.
To open up, for fans to watch and for us as coaches, it was just a grind.
It was,
and fun too. A ton of energy, a ton of back and forth. And then, at the end, come out victorious. Super happy to come out with a win. And then get to play Charleston the next day, who I think is, a veteran team. Obviously played really well in the NCAA tournament last year. Try to get that revenge game for us, fell short.
Yeah. And, when you play a game like West Lib, you're tired after that game.
Especially
you go to overtime. Yeah, it's like you're moving for that whole entire 45 minutes that we played. But yeah, I wake up the next day, have to go to shoot around, have to move around a little bit, and then face Charleston. And I think that was a good test for us. Like early season, they're a really good team. They will compete for the Mountain East Championship. Like I'm pretty confident in that. And we showed up. We lost by 7, but it was back and forth. We went down by, I don't remember the exact number, but it was probably 15, something like that. And we definitely fought back. So it was good. That weekend was good for us to see. Like we played in a very close game the first night. We kept our composure. We couldn't win a close game. And then the next day we had to fight back. So for us, obviously leaving there 1-1, we'd rather be 2-0. But I think learning for us was really big.
You hear many coaches say you're either going to win or you're going to learn. And hopefully I think that was, something for us to see, that you have to be ready to go. And, I think we always say this, and I think we say this about our players at practice as well. You're never disappointed with their effort, really. Yeah. Like, if we would fall, typically it's not because of effort. I think our players bring it every single day and every single game, super competitive. They put their effort out there. Just a few miscues here and there that you want to get back that unfortunately you don't, but you have to learn from it.
Yeah, of course. And hopefully we see them again sometime this year.
You get excited for that.
Yeah. So, and like I said, 2 good games, 2 good teams. So I think we left there feeling like, okay, we have some work to do, but this is where we are.
And then right after that, we have our first home game versus Bowie State. And, what did you think about that, being at home?
Oh, yeah, it was nice to be home.
Yeah.
I think our players really enjoy, being at home.
Playing in front of our crowd.
Yeah, it was a weird 4:00 game, but
big turnout though, fan-wise. I loved it. It was
better than I anticipated.
Bumping.
Yeah, but I just think it's a comfort to be at home, and again, that's a regional game for us. They're typically good in their conference, so we try to schedule those kind of games. And I think we showed up. I think our defense was improved.
Stellar.
Yeah, I think we did a really good job. And again, it's funny because they play a different kind of defense, so you have to prepare differently for them. And I think we did a good job focusing on that, kind of seeing openings, following a game plan, which is good for us to see, can we do those kind of things? So yeah, it's a good win for us, good regional win.
Yep. And then right after Bowie State, we head to I think what all coaches say, that game right before Thanksgiving break, that you have to play it. It's one of those games. We were on the road, a long trip. Happy to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
With a win. And I think that you can talk about the resiliency of our players. We didn't start the game off well.
That's a very nice way to put that. Yes.
Yeah, we didn't start the game the way that we had wanted to. But we're really proud again of our players for just kind of pushing through the bad moments and putting them behind and just kind of focusing on chipping away, because we were down a good chunk.
We were, yes. I think 11.
Yep.
I think we were down 11 in the first half. But, yeah, that's a tough trip. Obviously, we don't make excuses. We never will. You got to be ready to go. But that's a long trip.
Everyone,
like you said,
all
before
coaches.
Thanksgiving, yeah. But I am super proud of them because we did come back. A lot of times you see teams, they don't snap out of it, and then you just regret you have this loss on your schedule. So I think at halftime we kind of turned it around, came out with some more energy, finally made some shots. Again, we saw zone, so had to adjust.
Different look.
We've seen different defenses every game.
Which I think is great for us as we prepare to go through the season, because, there's always that time where you see something new that maybe you haven't prepared for that kind of catches you off guard, but it's really nice to kind of see it early. Yeah. So you're ready for it anytime.
And with that game, too, I was really proud of some of our players coming off the bench. Like Talia had a huge game for us. Really important minutes, some big shots. And then Dynasty came in and had, like I said, you might not notice it if you're just the average fan, but
big
for
defensive
us,
possession.
big possessions. So I was really proud of them to be ready. Like, we needed them to come in and be ready, and they made some big plays. So again, every game for us this year is huge. Like, if we come out of there with a win, we'll take the good, we'll take the bad, we'll try to get better. But that was huge right before Thanksgiving.
Yep. And then last night, you know, right before we start PSAC play, crossover this weekend, Alderson brought us at home. Great game for us last night.
Yeah, I think last night we saw kind of our defensive intensity ramp up a little bit. I think that's what we anticipate. That's what we like to see. Here's some highlights.
Always on the offensive highlights.
Yeah,
That's what the people love to see.
I think there's some defensive ones. Obviously, Raja is she's had 3 double-doubles, I think, in the last 3 games. So
just scoring in bunches.
She's scoring, but she's also attacking the glass. I mean, she had 17 rebounds last night. So just kind of really getting after it. She does all the dirty stuff. But I think everyone is feeling kind of confident in their roles. I think everybody is kind of getting an idea. I think we're playing really good team basketball, especially last night. You know, I think this group is unselfish. I don't think they care who scores. I don't think they care who gets it done. But, you know, just kind of let's get it. Whatever we got to do to win. And this, I think, the first time this season where we got a ton of transition.
Steals to scores.
Steals to scores, yep. This is what we love to see here. You know, easy baskets in transition. And I think this was the first game this season where we really did a good job at that. You know, we talked about attacking the basket, following this game plan, and I think we did a good job with that.
Yeah, super excited to kind of just see the defensive and produce offense, and you know, getting a lot of people involved for this game. It was so nice. Some big time play off the bench. Everybody getting a lot of minutes. Just you love to see that, and you love to see, you know, players just produce, you know, just execute what we've been asking them to do. And I thought they did that really, really well.
They really did. You know, we kind of had a game plan defensively that we hadn't done all year. Just a little change, and I think we did execute that. They focused on it. But we were just more aggressive. We were in the passing lanes. We were going after it. And then everybody on our team scored. Everybody that played, everybody scored a point at least. So it was nice to see. You know, some of our young kids, there's Alicia Young right there, like they're really talented. They just need some experience. They need to get our system down. And then there's Z making that shot. She had a huge
fan section. I mean, Z brought the fans out last night.
Did.
Every bucket that she made was erupting. Yeah. Obviously, with that great personality of hers, very likable person. I think she just people on the campus love her.
And I love about our team, like, no matter who's on the bench, who's in the game, our bench is supporting.
Love it.
Yeah, they're so supportive. Like I said, they're unselfish. Like, whoever is out there, that's who they're cheering for. Like,
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yep, it doesn't matter to them. I think the bigger picture is always what they have at heart. And I think that you just love to see that. The bench is always up. No matter down, up, you know. It's just great. It's great to see them kind of all come together to support. It's really good. So after this break, we will be right back with our upcoming games, talking about a little PSAC crossover this weekend, and we'll be right back.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Do you love sports? Then you should know about STEM. Because maximizing nutrition, analyzing peak muscle performance, calculating the perfect shot, and more are all made possible by science, technology, engineering, and math. In fact, there are more careers than ever in sports science. So if you have a passion for sports, then think about getting involved in STEM and improve everyone's game on and off the field. Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
And welcome back to the Jess Strom Show. Second half of the program here today. again, feels so good to be back in this chair with Jess talking some hoops, even though we talk about it every day. It's nice to be on the
to share it
with others, kind of just the perspective of what's going on with the program. 2 huge games coming up. Every time we play PSAC games, you know it's going to be brought. We're heading out for the PSAC crossover out east. Shippensburg on Friday, Lock Haven on Saturday. Talk to us a little bit about the start of PSAC play.
Yeah, I just can't believe it's already here, you know, with this schedule. Now we play, you know, before Christmas, but Ship, Lock Haven, like we got to be ready to go. I feel like, you know, we only focus on the first game before, you know, I especially only focus on the first game.
And with the players.
So, yeah, with the players. So yeah, we're looking forward to Shippensburg right now. You know, we have a day off practice today, but we are watching. So tomorrow, you know, the players will watch 2 days of film, get our game preparation ready. But it's exciting. You know, I think Shippensburg is a good team right now. They have their leading scorer back from 2 years ago, who was out last year. So I think they have some veteran leadership there, and I think these are always good. You know, and the thing about the PSAC program is, like it's never not a good game. You know, it's very rarely, especially going on the road.
2 teams with a 4-1 record, identical records. You know, I think that are just super competitive teams. Always a good game. You know, always, you know, excited for any PSAC game that there is. You know, we talk about it. I think we preach it a lot with the players, how much we, you know, appreciate the PSAC in terms of its competitive nature for women's basketball. Just think that it's a game every day.
Yeah, it is. And with Ship, you know, I think it's 2 teams that historically want to get in the NCAA tournament, so it's a big game that way too. But yeah, I just think it's going to be competitive. I think they're a competitive team. I think a lot of our players know their players just from, you know, the state of Pennsylvania playing AU or, you know, being at home playing in summer league. So I think it's going to be it's kind of like a pride game. You know, I think that's the way I kind of look at it, because we know when you know someone that way. But yeah, and then we turn around the next day.
A 2-hour and 45-minute trip, nonetheless,
play
from Ship to Lock Haven.
But that's kind of why we try to play a tournament early, you know, because you know the conference schedules these games like this. So to be prepared, like now we know how to turn around and play the next day. So yeah, we got to be ready to play the next day. You know, Lock Haven, again, going on the road. You got to be prepared. You got to be ready.
What I love so much about these games too is, you know, these remind me of why you do these early on in the year, to prepare yourself hopefully for a PSAC tournament and then the NCAA tournament, because I feel like that's everyone's goals. You know, the goal is, you know, to get to the PSAC tournament, win the PSAC tournament, and get an opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament. And so I feel like, you know, the conference challenge that we have with the Mountain East, and then, you know, these kind of crossover games really try to prepare you to play back-to-back games where sometimes it does feel a little uncomfortable. But there's no excuses. There's no, oh, well, we had to play back-to-back games. That's just how it is.
Yeah,
and you got to get used to it. And I love those games. I don't like it from a preparation standpoint. It's a very quick turnaround. I mean, I know we prepare way ahead of, you know, in terms of coaching staff. You know, but for players, you know, you don't want to put, you know, the cart before the horse, so we always focus on the one first.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice the way we play, because even if you have 1 day turnaround, we defensively play the same.
We're not changing.
We're not changing. It's not like we have certain players that we play differently, or it's our system.
Great point.
So for us, it's a little easier that way. I think it's more on the offensive end, kind of adjusting to what defense they play, but I also think we have players that can make plays, so hopefully, you know, we can adjust.
Yeah, and you're always confident that Cal U will put their hard work, their effort, their attitude and grit out there. You know, that's one thing I think we always hang our hat on is, you know, that our players are going to come ready physically, mentally, and toughness-wise.
Yep.
Super pumped about that.
Yeah,
I love PSAC games. And then coming up, you know, it's really crazy to me. We're almost close to Christmas break. I know we're only 5 days out from Thanksgiving, but if you look, we have Ship Lock Haven, so December 2nd, December 3rd are those crossovers, folks. Make sure you're looking at the times on that, 5:30 p.m. both days. And then we play a non-conference game in the Mountain East, a great regional game for us versus Fairmont State on December 12th. And then we have another PSAC crossover at home, December 18th, 19th. And then, the last game in December, Kutztown away. So really, some really awesome competitive games coming up. Super excited about what lies ahead for the Vulcans.
Yeah, and all, like you said, even the Fairmont game, it's not conference, but it's regional.
So important.
Yeah, it really is. So it's like grind time before Christmas right here. Like, we got to just focus. Obviously, they have this week of school, next week of finals, and then they're professional athletes
for like that month. We always, there's no distractions during that time. Finals are over, school is over. They get to focus on kind of basketball only for that, what is it, about a month?
Yeah.
That's always fun, being able to spend extra time, a lot of chemistry built during that time, and then just getting excited for, like, this is where it gets into it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's finally here. Everything that you kind of work for over the summer, even when we're done with season and they, get in the gym themselves and practice and over the summer putting in effort, then all the time and effort and energy in preseason, like, well, this is why you do it, to kind of prove yourself day in and day out of why you want to be a basketball player. I mean,
yeah, it's not easy. I think a lot of people that maybe just come to the games or watch the games don't understand the time,
the commitment,
and energy they put into this.
The sacrifice.
Yeah, a lot.
There's a lot of, that's one thing I remember, you're so happy to play the game, but there is a lot of sacrifice. You miss a lot of things with friends and family, things that you might want to go to. But I think when you have a common goal of winning games and kind of have that chip on your shoulder to prove yourself and what you want your team to be all about, it's all worth it at the end.
Yeah, and it's so fun. This is such a good time for them. I know they're exhausted at times, and they see their classmates get to go home for a month and a half over winter break, and we're here. But I feel like they're making a lot of memories, and I feel like this year's team is pretty close. Like, I think they have a good time.
They have great chemistry. They have a great vibe about them.
They do. They're fun. So I think it's going to be a good time coming up. I think they get after it on the court, and I think that they have a lot of fun. So I think it's going to be a good season. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, day by day, we try to get better.
Till we can't be beat.
Yeah. But we, it's fun. It's been a good time. It's been enjoyable. There hasn't really been anything where we're like, the games are stressful, obviously, but it's been fun. It's a good vibe about us.
So, folks, you heard it. Watch us this weekend coming up for the PSAC crossover out east. Shippensburg on Friday at 5:30. Lock Haven on Saturday at 5:30, and follow along on the website at calvulcans.com. Probably messed that up about 3 times. And follow us along this season. We'd love for you to be on this journey with us as we go for just trying to get better and better every single day. So, folks, thanks for being with us on the Jess Strom Show. Hope you're all doing well, and take care.